This is the Bates Bobcast, our weekly podcast where we take a look at the week that was in Bates athletics. My name is Aaron Morse, and this week we're looking back at a thrilling Back to Bates weekend, highlighted by the football team's victory over Williams. Junior Frank Williams turned in the performance of his career to this point in the victory over the Eefs. Plus, volleyball and field hockey both shined with undefeated weeks, and women's soccer picked up a nice win as well. All that and more coming up on the Bates Bobcast. Back to Bates weekend featured home games for the football, soccer, field hockey, and volleyball programs. The football team earned a 29-17 victory over Williams, and junior slotback Frank Williams led the way. He caught 9 passes for 223 yards and 3 touchdowns, all career highs. But the play that gave Bates the lead for good came courtesy of sophomore Marcus Ross. Trailing 14-13, sophomore Joe Frake came up with an interception to give Bates the ball deep in Williams territory, with less than 5 minutes to go in the first half. On 1st and 10 at the Williams 17, sophomore quarterback Sandy Plashkus connected with Ross on a jump ball in the back corner of the end zone for the go-ahead score. Head coach Mark Harriman breaks down the play call.
1st and 10 on the 17-yard line, so it's an ideal location to, I don't want to say waste it down, but take a shot. And that was our mindset with that, is that we would take a shot on first down here, knowing that, as you can see, as this play develops, they're staying in their man-free concept, where they really pressing our outside receivers on the line of scrimmage, trying to keep a free safety in the middle of the field. And Marcus, as you watch the play, gets a great release. Right on the snap, beats the guy to the outside, and Sandy just threw the ball up there with some great height, which allowed Marcus to go up and get the ball and put it in a great location. So it was very well executed by both Marcus and Sandy on that play.
Yeah, absolutely. And then is that a play you've tried to run before this year?
Yeah, it's a play. We've got it. It's in our arsenal, for lack of a better term. We again, it's a down and distance situational call, something where if we feel we're going to get any type of press corner, Sandy has the ability to do that. I mean, we're obviously running as it's out of a trips formation, so we've got other receivers out in the route as well. Both slots are on the same side, and they're both running out cuts. And again, that's one of the plays we'd hit quite a bit with Frankie, just running the slide route to the outside.
The Bobcats added to their lead by outscoring the Eefs 10-3 in the third quarter to go up 29-17. Then neither team scored in the fourth, and Bates secured the homecoming victory. After the game, we caught up with a number of Bobcats on the field, including sophomore diveback Peter Boyer, who helped run out the clock down the stretch.
Well, Peter, as a dive back, how much do you like being able to wear down that clock there at the end?
Oh, I loved it. You could definitely tell the defense started to give up once we started pounding the rock.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, as an offense as a whole today, it seems like, the passing game opened up a lot, but you guys were also able to run it up the middle for a few yards, right? Balanced attack.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's what our offense is all about. Just having, if that run game is open, that just opens up the pass game just as well.
What can you say about Frank Williams? My goodness.
Great game. Oh, my gosh. 2 touchdowns. He just ran his butt off today.
Absolutely. What's the atmosphere like? Pretty cool, right?
Oh, yeah. So awesome. Had so many fans out here today. It was great.
All right, Peter. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Sophomore Tyler Harrington was part of a front four that helped the Bates defense record a total of 7 sacks, with Harrington notching the first of his career.
Well, we're joined by Tyler Harrington right after the victory for the Bobcats here today. And you were in the backfield, it seemed like, all day there on defense. What was working for you in terms of pressuring the quarterback?
Yeah, well, we got to get some good play calls going. Everybody did their job on the D-line. We really got a good rush going, and it was great. We did a good job as a group. And everybody, the coverage was great, got some time to make some rushes, and we got the job done.
Also getting the job done was linebacker Sam Francis, who led the Bobcats with 11 tackles, including 1 sack.
Joined by Sam Francis. Immediately following this victory, lots of happy people right here, right by Garcelon Field. First of all, I was talking to Tyler about this, but you guys, as a defense, were living in that backfield all day, right?
Yeah, I mean, we had a great game plan. Coach Averill put in a lot of blitzes, told us their tendencies, told us what they were going to do, and we just knew where to be at the right times, and we were able to execute.
Yeah, as a linebacker, how much do you like being able to blitz all day, it seems like?
Yeah, it was pretty the game plan was nice. The defensive line did an incredible job of getting in the way, eating blocks, and me, Mark, and Bresci were able to just play free all day, and it was great. It was a good team win.
And the defense as a whole, obviously, I mean, you guys only gave up 10 points as a whole, and so, I mean, what can you say about your development over 3 games this year?
Yeah, I mean, we just keep getting better and better every week. That's what Coach has been stressing, and that's what we've been doing, and I just can't wait to keep it rolling, keep getting better next week.
And how cool is this atmosphere right now?
It's the greatest day of the year. It's my favorite day of the year.
All right.
Love it.
Excellent. Thanks so much.
No problem.
Offensive coordinator Skip Capone designed the game plan that allowed Bates to burn the Eafs with big plays throughout the afternoon.
First of all, you got Frank Williams involved a lot today. Was that the plan early on?
Every week it's a plan with Frankie. He's a very, very good player, very explosive, and there were things they were giving us. We had him one-on-one coverage a lot, and he's a great player. He made me look really smart today.
And then Marcus Ross had a heck of a catch in the corner of the end zone. What did you see on that play?
That was just a kid making a play. Sandy, we told Sandy, everyone take a shot once in a while, and he felt Marcus had an advantage, and it was a great catch. And obviously, it was a touchdown, which is awesome. And happy for Marcus, he's another really good young player. And we're excited.
Sandy threw the ball very well today. What did your evaluation of his performance through the air?
I thought he did a really nice job. He was very poised. We found some things that he could do very, very well, and we just kept going back to some different formations and things. And he was again, like anything else, you complete a few passes, your confidence level goes up, and he's feeling pretty good about himself right now.
How cool is this atmosphere back to Bates? Great crowd.
This is the best atmosphere in the NESCAC, period, end of story.
On Monday, we sat down with head coach Mark Harriman to go further in depth about the big win.
You wanted to have more balanced offense. Well, you really aired it out a lot this game. I mean, what do you see on tape to have that be part of the game plan?
Yeah, well, again, part of it was, our progression as an offense, and knowing that we wanted to, as our young quarterback developed and our receivers developed, that we were able to throw the ball more, and we were able to take advantage of what Williams was doing to us. As I said, they were playing quite a bit of man coverage against us, and we were able to do some things with some motion and to get some guys open.
Sandy must have been pretty happy to get to throw it a lot, right?
Yeah, well, again, it's still about making the right reads, and so he certainly has to go through that progression as well, whether it's run or pass. So I think it was, obviously every quarterback wants to throw the ball, so he was happy with that, but I thought he did, for the most part, did a pretty good job with his reads.
Well, let's talk about Frank Williams, NESCAC Offensive Player of the Week, our male Bobcat of the Week as well. It's a big honor. But, Frank, obviously, he had more receiving yards in this game than he had his whole career entering this game, even though he was always been a pretty good weapon. 2 huge explosive plays from him. What do you see develop on those 2 plays, and then overall just your breakdown of what made him so great in this game?
Yeah, well, again, I think it's getting a playmaker in space, and that's – Frank's been a playmaker for us really since he's been here. If you can go back a couple of years with big catches against Colby a couple of years ago to win that game, and he's, as I said, he's one of our most explosive playmakers, and we were really able to get him isolated at times, and again, whether it was with motion or just getting him one-on-one with somebody, and that really certainly made a difference.
Sure, absolutely. And then on the defensive side of the ball, once you guys got that lead, it looked like once Williams was forced to throw it a little bit more, it looked like you guys were able to just pin your ears back and go at him. Is that how you saw it also?
Yeah, I mean, when you get to a point where offenses have to get somewhat predictable by down and distance, or again, just they're down by a couple of scores and they have to throw the football more. Certainly, our guys get into a different mindset. I mean, I thought Williams did a great job running the football, with the guys that they have, and that kept us balanced on defense for a good portion of the game. But once they did need to score a little more, then it certainly made it easier as far as our guys up front being able to play the pass more than the run.
Yeah, I was really impressed with some of the big guys up front. Harrington and Richardson in particular stood out to me at least. They got a couple of sacks in there. What do you see from them in their growth?
Yeah, it's same thing. I mean, guys just getting more confident in what they're doing a great job with their hands. I think that's one of the big things that everybody talks about, a speed rush, but it's more about being able to get an offensive lineman's hands off you. And I thought our guys have worked hard at that with the last couple of weeks and really did a great job with that.
And then how cool was it to see have Walter Washington get his first career sack?
Yeah, no, he did a great job. He actually had a QB knockdown on a play earlier in the game, so had a pressure there and a sack. So he had for the amount of snaps he was on the field, he really was very productive for us.
Talk to us a little bit about the atmosphere of this Back to Bates weekend. Pretty special, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we have a great atmosphere, I think, for all our home games. We're very fortunate to have our field where it is. I mean, with Garcelon being right in the middle of campus, we typically will, besides the every other year when we play Middlebury during break, we always have great fan support. And the pregame atmosphere with the team coming on is again as good as there is in the conference, and maybe in some ways as good as there is in Division III. So we're always really excited to play at home, and having our alumni and families here is certainly a great touch as well.
It was certainly a game of big plays. I mean, Williams, the 2 touchdowns they did get were both on big plays, one on offense, one on defense. When it's like that, and when you see it's going like that, what do you say, if anything, to your team about how to handle it, especially after they had that fumble recovery for the touchdown?
Yeah, well, again, that's the highs and lows of the game, and being able to handle adversity is something that I think shows a team is maturing. And realistically, if you look at all 3 of their scores, the last field goal was off a long punt return. So, and the defense stepped up there and actually. They had 3 yards on the second down, and that was it, and forced them into a field goal when they had the ball on the 20-yard line. So that was again another show of stepping up through the adversity, and I just again I think as we mature through the season that we can obviously take things from this game from that standpoint of being able to obviously be excited about when we score and when we have the highs, but maintaining our composure through that, and then also when we do have something that's not necessarily in our favor go their way, then we want to make sure that we're able to step up and make a play.
Everyone watches tape. I'm sure Wesleyan's going to be watching tape, and they see, Frank Williams, over 200 receiving yards. So I'm sure they'll be keen on Frank for next week. So does that change your guys' approach at all?
Not really. I think a lot of offenses are balanced enough that the Wesleyan's a very good team, and they're pretty balanced on both sides of the ball, and I don't foresee them changing their game plan dramatically because of that. I mean, I think first and foremost, most of the teams we play have to defend the option first, and everything kind of comes off that. And fortunately, with a team that wanted to come in and play a bunch of man coverage against to help stop the option, it allowed us to have some things go our way in the pass game. But it'll be a challenge like it is every week, and as I said, I think we've got to make sure that we balance things out. If we get into a situation where we can have big plays in the pass game, that certainly takes the pressure off everything else.
Yeah, I mean, down the stretch when you guys just had to, milk that clock, basically, you had some dive backs, Spillane and Boyer really just pounding out yards, getting first downs. Nice to see, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, there's an old adage: you throw to score, you run to win, and that kind of played out in that game. And anytime we feel we can get into the fourth quarter with a lead, I think it plays into our hands that, with our dive backs and our offensive line coming off the football, that we can really wear the defense down and more importantly, take time off the clock.
Great. And then any other, standout performers we haven't talked about who you'd like to, mention from this game that really helped you guys get the victory? Yeah,
well, I think, kind of an unsung hero for us this week was Justin Foley. I mean, his punting was tremendous. He's been consistent for us all along, but I think on Saturday he really stepped up and kind of took it with his, I think it was close to a 44-yard average, and That's certainly something that those are Division One standards. So that was a big part of changing field position or keeping us, in positive field position. So.
Yeah, he had that 55-yard punt that Moni fumbled there at the 4, and Trevor Lyons was able to jump on top of it, which seemed to spark everything, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, anytime you can give the offensive ball inside the 5, that's a great thing to have happen, and especially to do it on special teams was great.
All right, last question: what's going to be major points of emphasis this week preparing for the Wesleyan game this Saturday?
Well, they're very explosive offensively. I mean, if you look at their statistics, they're one of the top offenses, probably one of the most balanced offenses in the conference. I think they're athletic on both sides of the ball. We need to go out and play extremely well, doing what we do. I think that's what we did last week for the most part in all phases of our game. For the most part, we played very well from an assignment standpoint and a technique standpoint, and we're going to need to do that to finish up.
All right, Coach, thanks so much for the time, and congrats again on the victory.
Thank you.
It's time to talk to our Bobcats of the Week. The male Bobcat of the Week is, you guessed it, junior slotback Frank Williams. His stats are worth repeating: 9 catches, 223 yards, 3 touchdowns, with a career-long catch of 73 yards. He had more receiving yards Saturday than he had total in his entire career entering the game. He was named the NESCAC Offensive Player of the Week, and he is our male Bobcat of the Week.
Have you ever had a game like that in your life at any level of football?
No, not receiving yards. That was pretty big. That was the first time I've had easily more than 1 catch a game, so that was a pretty big game for me. Yeah.
And coming in, was the game plan going to get you the ball through the air more often than usual, at least?
Yeah, we're gonna spread it out because they run man and they load the box. So, Coach Capone and Coach Lopes are we're gonna spread the game out, throw the ball to our receivers more. So, yeah. And
then from your perspective as a slot back, how do you balance the responsibilities of running the ball a lot, but also being responsible for catching the ball a lot?
I have no idea. They just tell us what the game plan is, and we just got to get ready for it throughout the week. Coach Chasen does really well with that, and you just we're running routes every day. We're taking handoffs every day. So the week prior to the game is always huge.
How are you developing chemistry with your new quarterback this year, Sandy Plashkus?
Oh, Sandy's the man. He's the man. I'm friends with him off the field. Great kid. I know he's gonna always be there. Throw the ball. It makes great reads. So I have no doubt whatsoever on his play.
And then the atmosphere for Back to Bates was pretty cool, wasn't it?
Oh, it's great. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen it like that before. There's a lot of people there. Definitely a great day. That's what Bates is known for. We always have a great tailgate. The field's in the middle of the campus, so everybody's there. I love to see that.
And then take us through your 2 long touchdowns where you basically got behind the defense and then outran them a little bit. What developed on those plays, and what did you see?
So the first one was a 3x1 extended route, and it's basically an air route to a wheel. So and they didn't cover me for some reason, so I just kind of caught the ball. in the middle of the field, almost fell, but then I just ran to the end zone. And the second one was a back shoulder wheel route. It was a little underthrown, but Sandy made a great throw. I just caught it and kind of just ran. I don't know. I wasn't really thinking. Yeah.
Right, exactly. It must be nice to realize you're wide open, though, right?
Oh, yeah, it was great.
And then I know the other great touchdown that game, Marcus Ross had a heck of a catch in the back of the end zone. What did you see on that play from him?
Oh, he just made an amazing play. They put Marcus in because he can make plays. He made one last year against Middlebury. He's a big kid, so he just went up, got the ball, came down in bounds. Great play.
Absolutely. Now, you're a junior now, but take us back when you decided on colleges. What attracted you to come up here to Bates from Massachusetts?
I visited. I was looking NESCACs, and I visited here. I loved it. The atmosphere reminded me of my high school, so I thought I'd fit in really well. I played with Sean Lovett, and Michael Cronin in the Shriners game, so I really like them. So I kind of figured it'd be a nice fit for me. So I came here.
I know the team in general, obviously last year got a CBB, but a little disappointed about overall. This year, obviously, a nice win there over Williams. What's the team's mentality right now going forward in terms of, trying to, build on the success that previous teams have had throughout the years here recently?
Well, the Williams game is always huge because, it's like Tufts, Williams, and then we play Wesley and Middlebury, who are like, the two better teams of the NESCAC. And this win always propels us into the next two games. So with a positive mindset, I think we do really well against Wesley and Middlebury.
Yeah, Wesleyan coming to town this Saturday. What do you remember about them from previous years?
They're similar to Williams, more athletic. They man us up, so hopefully we'll spread them out again and have a great day again. Yeah.
So when you're facing man-to-man defense as an offensive player, you must like that maybe more than facing a zone defense, perhaps, because you have a chance to beat your guy.
Oh yeah, it's all one-on-one matchup. So if you just gotta be better than man across you.
And then what's your relationship like with the other slot backs? Because there's so many of them on this team, right?
Yeah. No, I love them. We call ourselves the Dogs. McCoy, Petey, Flaherty, and now it's Ty Baum and Zach Doyon, and then it's a great group of kids. We're all good. We're the slot's supposed to be the most important position in the field, so we treat it like that. But they're all great dudes. Yeah.
Excellent. I know last year you were battling through injuries. I mean, you played pretty much every game, but it seemed like you were kind of limited. This year it must be nice to be fully healthy again, right?
Oh yeah, it's so much better than No, ankle problems are the worst. So this season I'm feeling good. Hopefully I stay healthy the rest of the season.
Okay, great. And then what are some goals? I mean, obviously the CBB, but what are you most looking forward to the rest of the year here, maybe including the CBB?
I'll try to get a winning record. That includes winning the CBB, obviously. But if we win up the next 5 games, looking great. We're just trying to get the best record as possible, and I think we can do it. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, Frank, congrats again on your great performance this past week, and thanks for taking the time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Our female Bobcat of the week comes from the volleyball team. They had a big week, defeating Wesleyan 3-0 on Friday and knocking off Trinity 3-0 on Saturday to improve their NESCAC record to 3-3 on the year. Leading the way, senior captain Chandler McGrath, who tallied a match-high 19 kills on Friday and followed that up with a match-high 12 kills on Saturday. The NESCAC honored McGrath as the volleyball player of the week, and she is our female Bobcat of the week.
Leading up to this weekend, we had a couple of injuries and we've been dealing with a lot of illnesses, but I thought it was great this weekend. We all came together and we really pushed through all of that, and you could see in our performance this weekend what we can do just when the chips are down and we all come together. It was really great.
And you were able to lead the team in kills both matches. What have you been working on this year in your senior year in terms of your game?
I think in terms of my game, I'm just playing every ball like it's the last ball I ever touch. It's crazy to think that I only have a couple weeks left in my career, and I guess right now I'm just giving it all I've got and leaving it all out on the court.
And then in terms of this week leading up to some tough matchups, you got Tufts I think coming up in Bowdoin. What's gonna be the point of emphasis in practice, you think?
Some major points in practice we need to work on, just being disciplined, and defense and offense. And with our offense, we should work on being a little smarter with where we're hitting and just keeping ourselves in system and keeping Tufts and Bowdoin both out of system, because I think if we do that, our offense can overcome both the teams.
And then as one of the captains on the team, what are some of your responsibilities in that department?
I think one of my biggest responsibilities is just leading by example, working hard every day, making sure my game is on point, and then just encouraging everyone else to follow my example.
The team obviously won 3 NESCAC games last year. They've already won 3 now this year, 3-3, so they're off to a great start. What improvement have you seen from the team as a whole from last year to this year?
In terms of discipline, we've really raised our standard for every practice, for every match, just in terms of skill and mental toughness. We demand different things in practice now than we did last year, and I think that's exponentially improved our team skill-wise, but also just our expectations of ourselves. So I think it's that shift in perspective that we are a good team, and therefore we should think higher of ourselves and expect more of ourselves.
And this is Melissa Duran's second year as your head coach. Have you really seen her put her stamp on the program?
Yeah, I have. She's definitely, with us expecting more of ourselves, she definitely has raised our standards. Well, she expects more of us as a team, and clearly you can see just by the 2 years she's been here, we've obviously raised our standard in terms of like winning percentage and things like that. We've won the same amount of games just as we did last year in her first year, and obviously we hope to improve upon that. So with Melissa being our new coach, I think this program is going onwards and upwards.
Great. And then what are you most looking forward to for the remainder of your senior year here?
I think what I'm looking forward to most is just like finishing my career on a high note and just really embracing all the great moments that volleyball has brought me, and especially like being at home and taking advantage of like that feeling of being an alumni and having the support of the students and the parents and everyone here, and just really just soaking all that like positive vibes in, and I don't know, just really loving that feeling.
All right, well, great. Chandler McGrath, our female Bobcat of the week. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much.
The field hockey team mirrored the volleyball team by going 2-0 on the week, with the Bobcats getting a 4-1 win over Endicott on Wednesday and a 1-0 overtime victory on Saturday against Connecticut College for their third NESCAC victory of the year. Head coach Danny Ryder updates us on the team's progress, starting with their win over Endicott in the middle of the week, where 4 different players scored goals, showing off the team's depth.
It was a great victory for us for that reason, and also because we had left the previous weekend unsatisfied and with a lot of conversations about lessons that we wanted to learn as a program. And so that game meant a lot to our team as an opportunity to put those lessons into action and not just have them be conversations. And that's really what the team did on Wednesday. So it was a big win for us in more ways than just one.
Yeah, it's a good way to kind of get back on track, right, in terms of like it's a non-conference game, so there's maybe not as much pressure as a conference game. A good way to get back on track. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, it's definitely a good way to get back on track, and we're really just trying to focus on our controllables, which is everything we do. And so leading into both Endicott and Connecticut College, we spent less time focusing on our opponent and more time focusing on what we need to fix in our own play, and it seemed to have paid off.
Let's talk about Connecticut College. On Saturday, back to Bates weekend, we had every team at home, it seemed like. Field hockey got the 1-0 victory in overtime. An intense game. Overtime is always tricky. So what was your feelings in your mind throughout that game as you got closer and closer to the end of regulation with it still being scoreless?
Well, one thing that just struck me at the end of the game, and we talked about as a team, is we had, in that second half, we really rallied, but in the same time, we had a lot of calls not go in our direction that could have been really frustrating, but the team did a really great job of just putting that out of their mind and continuing to push for the win. And really that made the difference, because sometimes those moments can consume you as a team and you can forget to focus on the details when you're worried about the calls or just things that are happening. So they really pushed through and got the win, and it said a lot about their mental strength in that game.
And then this was your second overtime game this year. What do you think the team learned how to approach overtime maybe from their first experience this year against Williams?
Well, we just made some tactical adjustments that we talked about really quickly before the overtime, just a different strategy of how we wanted to play the overtime. Williams, we played it a little too defensively. In this overtime, we really focused on going ahead and really pressuring the attack. And so that was really how we were able to capitalize on a couple opportunities and ultimately draw the corners that we scored on.
And Lauren getting her first career goal, right? What was that like?
It was great. It was such a great moment for her. She had a goal called back in regular time that was, I think, a really pivotal point in the game for us, because it was very close to the eye, and so the team really kept their heads on straight and accepted the call. And for her to come back after getting that goal taken away from her in regular time and come back and score the OT goal was perfect.
Yeah. Now, looking forward, the schedule, you got, 4 games left, I believe, 2 non-conference, 2 conference. 2 of those games, Babson's a top 10 team. You beat them last year. Millbury's defending national champion, so it is a bit of a challenging slate ahead. What do you talk to your team about that at all?
Yeah, again, we're really keeping the focus on us. I think that one of the biggest challenges we have on our team, but in the athletic department in general, is overestimating some opponents, and so we have a lot of conversations about to never overestimate, but also don't underestimate your opponents. You need to respect, but not put them up on a pedestal. And so our conversations this season have been surrounding that idea that we respect our opponents, but at the end of the day, we also respect the work that we've put in. And it's been slowly making the difference, and that's really what we're just going to continue to push heading into these tough conference games, because we know that we've put a lot of work in as well, and Middlebury's a completely different team than they were last year. Colby's a different team than they were last year. So just recognizing that no two seasons are the same, and so you can't put somebody where they haven't yet proven to be.
Last question. Speaking of your team, obviously it's a unique situation this year without any seniors. So as a coach, what has that been like for you so far?
You know, I haven't really actually even thought about it all that much. We just have really, even though they're young, they're Bates students, so they're incredibly intelligent, but they're just really good leaders, and they really understand that everyone on the team has something to give. And so it's been an interesting process because we don't have captains. Each week we vote for who we consider the Bobcat of the week previously, so who gave the best effort in practice and games, and it's been everywhere from a junior to a first year. It's been every position on the field from goalkeeper to forward, and so it's really made us look critically at what it means to be the Bobcat of the week, that leader for the week. And it's worked out really well.
All right, Danny Ryder, thanks so much for your time, and congrats again on the 2-0 week.
Thank you very much, Aaron.
The men's golf team had a busy week. It all started on Thursday at the Mariner Invitational, where first-year Andrew Garcia Bowe took home the top spot in the field, shooting a 72, defeating the second-place finisher by one shot. He joined the Bobcast to look back on the Mariner Invitational and more.
A lot of things went really well. I think the thing that I'm really proud of was how calm I was going into it. We didn't have a lot of practice time, so I had to not worry about that too much. And I think that I just wanted to make sure I hit all of my shots the best that I could and not stress if I had a mess up or I was in a bad position, and just take it shot by shot.
And as you're going along, you probably don't really know where you are in the rankings, right? What's that like?
It's a little nerve-wracking. I mean, when you know that you're playing well, you know you must be in the top, but it's golf. Anything can happen. Someone can come in with a ridiculous low number, and you might not expect it.
And you probably never played that course before, so what was the course like?
I've never played it before, so I went in completely blind. Actually, the two other members that I played with in my group had never played it either. Well, one kid played it once, like 2 years ago, so take it as he's never played it before either. So going in blind, it was kind of like you had to play a little bit more conservative, which makes it hard, but it's kind of nice not to be trying to hit ridiculous shots when you know that you can, but playing it laid back definitely helps you go low.
And you're a first year, so what's your first year been like so far as part of the Bates men's golf program? You only got one more tournament this fall.
Yeah, I mean, it went by quick. Having one more left is kind of sad. I've really enjoyed playing in them. I definitely wish there were more. There are some tournaments where I know I could have played better and that I should have played better. But I'm really happy with the start of the season, especially since it's my first college season. And, I mean, I've loved Bates so far, and definitely the golf program is a lot of fun. I love all of the guys on the team. I have nothing negative to say about it. Coming from a high school team, playing for 4 years, it's a similar experience, so I'm not coming in completely blind. But I think that it's a new experience playing 18 holes for a tournament and playing with a lot more challenging groups of people and a lot more challenging members of different teams, and it's definitely a lot of fun. I enjoy it a lot.
For sure. And then being from New York, how did you first learn about Bates? How did you decide to come up here to play some golf and obviously go to school?
Well, my sister actually came here in 2009. She graduated in 2013, so I knew the school pretty well. And, I mean, I visited a bunch of other schools similar to it, and when it came down to it, I knew that Bates had everything that I actually wanted, and I said, why don't I just go there? Why don't I apply? Like, there's no point in trying to find something else. I love it here, and it's been great.
How's the adjustment been academically? Because, I mean, golf, you're out there for a while for practices and stuff, and so your schedule must be a little bit chaotic.
Yeah, it's not easy. Managing time is a lot harder, but, I mean, the season's almost over, so it's not like I had to do it for very long. Practices usually take like 3 hours, so it's a big chunk out of your day, and especially in the weekends, 2-day tournaments, you're gone from 8 in the morning to like 5 in the afternoon, and then you're exhausted. You don't want to do anything. but you just kind of have to power through it for the short amount of time that it takes.
So last question for you. You mentioned that you obviously don't know how you're doing in terms of the standings throughout a tournament. So what was the moment like when you learned you'd won? Take us through that.
Well, when I came in and I saw that my number was a lot lower than a lot of the other ones, it's kind of like overwhelming. You're just like, oh, okay, like I guess I won this or have a good chance. And I mean, when you go, you're one of the first groups to go out. There are a lot of people behind you, so it's still kind of unknown to what's going to happen. And I actually, when I looked at the standings in the end, like the next day, there was actually a person like a shot or two behind me. So to know that like I squeaked in by that much is just a great feeling, and it excites you and you want to get out and play even more.
All right, Andrew Garcia Bo, thanks so much for your time, and congrats again on winning the Mariner Invitational.
Thank you.
On Saturday, Bates finished second at the CBB tournament before defeating Colby at the Colby Classic on Sunday, despite rainy conditions at Waterville Country Club. The men's soccer team lost a close match with Connecticut College in double overtime by a score of 2-1 on Saturday, and the women's soccer team fell to the Camels by a count of 1-0. But the women's soccer team got a chance to bounce back Sunday against Husson, and bounce back they did, winning 4-0. Sophomore Cassidy McCarn scored 2 goals in the win.
The first goal was off a free kick that Hannah Behringer took just outside the box. We've been talking a lot in practice about like making the 2 runs, so if there's a free kick or a corner, making sure to get on the keeper, so if the ball's bouncing, there's someone close enough to put it in. So that's basically what happened with the first one. Hannah played a really good ball in that challenged the keeper, and she wasn't able to get her hands fully on it, so it bounced a little bit, and I was able to volley it in. So yeah, I definitely have to give Hannah the credit for giving me a good free kick to start it off. And then the second goal was, I think, like 80th, like towards the end. And a ball was crossed in, and their defense wasn't able to clear it. So I was making, again, this comes back to like a lot of stuff we've been working on in practice, like which runs we should be making off of free kicks and corners. And so I was like the 5 run, which is the top of the box. So I like made that run, and I was just there for the bounce off of their defender. I had enough time to take a touch and put it where I wanted it. So that was good. Yeah.
Nice. As a midfielder, obviously you're responsible for covering a lot of ground, right? What's that like?
It's tough. I mean, I like have a lot of good people that I work with in the midfield, so we communicate a lot and talk a lot. We definitely have a lot of people off the bench who are able to contribute too. So it's a tough position because there's a lot of running. You have to be in a lot of different places, but we definitely have people who are trained for it and have come off the bench and like really proven themselves. A couple of first years have like done really well in coming in and like relieving some upperclassmen. So that's really good to see.
It's somewhat of a young team this year, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It is. I think that was sort of a highlight of the Husson game is when we're up a couple goals, you're able to put in some of the younger players and maybe in a lower pressure situation where you have the comfort of a couple of goals. The pressure of being a first year and playing in a big game like that is a little bit less intense, I would say. So it was definitely some good experience for them.
Gotcha. And how was the team feeling? I mean, after the game, it must be nice to get that W.
Yeah, it was great. It was rainy and chilly, and we were definitely a little. We were still happy despite the weather, of course. But yeah, it's been a little bit of a bumpy season so far, so it felt really, really good to get a win. Yeah.
Now you're from Connecticut, so how did you end up coming up here to Bates to Maine for college?
Well, I mean, a lot of people in New England just are interested in NESCAC schools. It was always on my radar. I mean, like academically, Bates is exactly what I was looking for. So I was like, if soccer works out too, that would be awesome. Hannah Behringer is also from Connecticut, so when I came on my overnight, I was able to stay with her. We played the same position, so it was like really cool to talk to her about like being from Connecticut, playing in the midfield. Like she was a really good host, and I like fell in love with the school, and the program was awesome too. So it started with the school, and soccer was definitely an added bonus. Yeah.
Excellent. And you got a few games left here in the season. Yeah. So what's the team going to be focused on moving forward here?
Well, we like to look at the out-of-conference games. So Husson and then Thomas on Thursday as sort of just a challenge for us to play the best we can, anticipating the Middlebury game and anticipating the Colby game and wanting to finish strong in the NESCAC. So we try not to, even if we're up 4 goals, like we're trying not to play down to any level. We're trying to play at our own level so that when we do face the more competitive opponents, we're ready. So I think it's really nice to have these 2 out-of-conference games in between to sort of break up those NESCAC games. So we'll definitely be prepared when it comes to those last two, and hopefully we can get 2 W's. Yeah.
All right, there we go. Cassidy, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you.
Next time on the Bates Bobcast, we'll recap how the football team does against Wesleyan this Saturday. Kickoff at Garcelon Field is set for 1 o'clock. The cross-country teams host the Maine State meet this week, and there are some big road conference matches for volleyball as well. All that and more next time on the Bates Bobcast.